Welcome back to the Nasty Work Podcast. I am Nia Senior with my amazing co-host, as always, Coach Slaw.
Hi, everybody. It's Coach Law here. I just wanted to say I might sound strange today because I have a concussion. Unfortunately, I was in a car accident last week and I'm still recovering, but basketball never stops, so we never stop at nasty work.
We stay on the grind. However, if you take a moment, say some prayers, send some love, send some joy, no voodoo, Coach Slaw's way, and wish her a speedy recovery. Okay. So, with that caveat out of the way, let's get into it. Today, not even today, this week, the last few weeks have been very hectic in the women's basketball world. Let's just take it all the way back. We haven't told y'all or even talked about the national championship game, and that we do have an undefeated national champion, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Wow.
38 and 0. Cleared you,
Thir-
hoes.
38 and oh. And I would just like to say the revenge tour is complete. What did Raven Johnson say? That get back is a motherfucker. Like, yes, please. Thank you.
I'm so proud of Raven. She was such a good leader this year. If people don't know, Raven been that girl, okay? She was winning, beating my old team in Georgia's ass in the Final Four. She got 4 state championships when she was in high school at Wesley and used to make us sick. So
Okay.
I'm proud of her. She's repping Atlanta area well, and she went on a revenge tour and succeeded. And at one point, she held Kaylin Clark to just 7 points through the game when she was guarding her. People are going to say, well, Kaylin still got 30. So 18 was in the first quarter. Once they made adjustments, Caitlin was in single digits in every quarter. So it was a great team effort to keep Caitlin contained.
Very much so. Raven did her big one defensively. My sister could have went zero from the free throw line, zero from the field, but she kept Caitlin Clark, y'all's white savior, to 7 points. She had clamps on that girl. It
Caitlin a
was
good nickname.
a good nickname.
Yeah, she cannot be White Mamba. That's DT. Diana.
No,
She needs something.
she do. And Flack Mamba is Sabrina.
Poor Sabrina. We will think of a good name for Caitlin.
Maybe she's logo Lucy. I don't know, some
Logo
because she's
Lucy. Maybe she not the Mamba, she the Cobra.
she's some.
Something.
The girl is cold. I can't say too much. Raven definitely did her biggest one on Caitlyn, and the whole South Carolina Gamecock team did a great job. I feel like in the game, it was a couple moments that was looking real scary at first. In that first quarter, I was like, okay, what's going on? But the girls, they always figure out a way to win. They shaked back. Even Dawn knew it. She didn't call no timeouts, even though they were down by 10. But she knows her girls. She knows that they know how to get it right. So
Yeah, they
it was
cleared
just,
them. Like the bench for South Carolina scored 37 points.
my God.
Iowa's bench scoring 0 points, which is unusual, but also like, I don't know what happened. They didn't step up in the moment. And we had our formula. We said stars have to rise. Kaylin did what she had to do. She did what she could, but if nobody else is hot or nobody else is contributing, what can she do?
It's just not enough. She can't win the game by herself. And that's really what it was. We've been talking about depth when it comes to South Carolina literally all season. And honestly, it showed. Everybody scoring almost, I think, on the team. 38 bench points. What can you say?
And the other Johnson of the moment was Tessa Johnson. Shout out to her, really stepping up.
My 3C sister, I love that light skinned girl down. She did her biggest one. Like, she really, we have been seeing it like the last few games, really in the postseason of her, like, finally starting to like, adjust to the college game and to really show up. But for to show up in the national championship game and be named to the all tournament team as a freshman, come on. Like, she's that girl. Don't ever play with Tessa. Ever, ever, ever,
No
ever.
fear on that team. They all play so free, and it's really exciting. And Chloe Kitts had a big night as well. She had
They
had her ups and downs in the postseason, but she really stepped up. I saw her making good plays, taking the right shot at the right time, playing very confident. I like Chloe Kitts a lot. I hope that next year we see more consistency out of her, but she was really, really good.
that Chloe, yeah, I really like her game. I just think that she lost a little bit of confidence, it seemed like like in the last few games. I also think she just needs to gain some weight. I know that I told Coach Slaw this off off camera, off recording, basically that like they need to be feeding that girl some cornbread, some rice, some cabbage, some something. I want to see,
Bojangles,
okay, I want to see 20
Raisin
pounds.
Cane's. But that's okay. It's hard when you're young sometimes to put on weight.
Right.
And she's working with the best in the business, Molly Benetti. So body
Okay,
by
body by the
minute.
minute.
This off season, she will get it right. I know she will. She's determined. And if you've seen her parents or met her parents, they are both thin people. So
Mm,
genetically, it
genetics.
might be a little harder for her to put on some weight, but she's a hard worker. She'll be okay.
She'll be fine. And I'm so glad you mentioned Molly. Shout out to Molly to end a undefeated season with a national championship and to do it with no injuries.
GOAT status.
We have to clap it up. Like, you could just have to commend the entire program when it comes to South Carolina, from Dawn to their assistant coaches to Molly to everybody that's on the bench, all of the players. Like, it's just really a cohesive program and everybody's doing their part. And it's just so amazing to see.
Yeah, I met Molly in Albany. She's very talented. She's very impressive. They have a great system and a great community around the girls. It was good to see that.
Now, we can't mention South Carolina winning and not mention everything that has happened post then in terms of media and the lack thereof. So there's been a lot of like conversation and just discourse about how the media, it has still centered Caitlin Clark, even though she didn't win the national championship. Like we just said, and we just mentioned, all of the great storylines and things that could have come from South Carolina that the media could have spoke about, talked on, just so many points. Just to name a few. Camilla, it being her final year getting ready to go to the W, and her story and how she came from Brazil, or even a nuance of that story about her and Raven Johnson's relationship and how when she came, Raven learned Portuguese so she could call plays with her, about Raven's Revenge Tour, about Malaysia being a hometown champion, and so on and so forth. There's just so many pieces that I feel like went unnoticed. And even more so, it was like, okay, I thought after they won the national championship, maybe the team would get some more shine, would definitely get some more media attention. And baby, I was wrong. They're still talking about Caitlin Clark. Even right after losing the game, they had the camera following Caitlin Clark into the locker room off. And I'm like, Donna's literally crying over here celebrating a championship, a national undefeated championship. And you guys have the camera following Caitlin Clark walking down a hallway. What are we doing? And it's just so bad to the point where you're seeing casual fans, people who just started watching, celebrities and other people pointing out the disparity in the media coverage. And so that just lets you know how egregious it really is. And it's just truly sickening to see. Even like Gail, was it Gail? It was one of them aunties in the media that did an interview and they had Dawn on the show and basically told her that everybody was rooting for Iowa. Girl, you're a black woman. What do you mean you're rooting for Iowa? That's just disrespectful. You have Dawn in front of your face. I'm not gonna keep ranting on, but I just hate to see that the girls are not getting their just due after having such an amazing season and having so many untapped into storylines for just an amazing program. It's like, what more can they do? What more do you want them to do? They can't bleach their skin and become white. So
Yeah, I feel that. I understand people are disappointed in how the media covers this because it seems like it's not balanced. And Caitlyn, she's not the winner, but it's kind of like a double edged sword we're dealing with. Caitlyn right now is the most famous player in women's basketball. Like Dawn Staley said, she's carrying a heavy load for the sport.
sure.
So when she wins, it's news. When she loses, it's news, right? She has the biggest fan base. So when she goes to the W as the number one pick, that expectation is a lot of pressure. And I think we just need to focus on it's the media. They want a certain type of player to be the face.
Mm,
And that player represents the socially dominant culture. So that socially dominant culture will favor a white woman who seems to be cisgender and seems to be straight. And so that's what we're dealing with. It's kind of a double edged sword because at the same time, we want a lot of eyes drawn to the sport and people to be interested so they will see information about other players too.
right.
Kind of like what Paige Becker said. I hope that we, spread the love a little more. And I will commend Caitlin for seeming to understand that now and starting to make that vocal because during, I think, one of the presser tour things she did at SNL, she recognized and paid homage to Cheryl Swoops, Maya Moore, Lisa Leslie, other players who came before her. And I don't think it was an accident that all of those players she mentioned were black women. But again, it shouldn't be the responsibility of Kaylin Clark or Paige Beckers. They're starting to show up as better allies, but the media needs to do it in the first place. They should identify who are the stars of the moment, and it shouldn't only be the local reporters in South Carolina who are doing their best without the largest platform putting out the stories. Time magazine put out a story after the national championship game saying Caitlin Clark's legacy is untarnished by national championship loss. But they didn't have a story that I saw, at least, about the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Mm,
That doesn't make sense to me.
no. And I think that's what we're just asking for. It's not that we don't want Kaylin to get her stories. Like you said, she's bringing so many eyes to the game. She is an amazing player. And there should 100% be stories about her. Even stories about her loss and how that affects her legacy, I think is an important story to tell. However, I just feel like the parity to have little to no stories about the actual national champions is just egregious. But in general, we know exactly what you're saying, that they want the face to be a cisgendered, seemingly straight white woman. And so that's why they just hold on to Caitlyn. Now, what I will say is I have a differing opinion. I know you said you feel like it's not on Paige or Caitlyn, it's on the media in the first place to highlight.
I think it's just
Uh,
not on them, but I don't think they're like the primary wrongdoer. Like they
yeah,
didn't
I don't
ask for the
think they're
attention.
the primary wrongdoer, but I'll say that I do think that it is advantageous for players to uplift or encourage stories about their competitors or just even highlighting them, because you can do it in a way that's not like where you feel like you're writing letters to Caitlin Clark because she just made the all-time scoring. Like, it doesn't need to be that much of an ass kissing, but Juju just went on Paul Pierce's podcast and did an interview and basically was just talking about, like, I'm great also. She basically just was saying that she is great also because the people that are around her that she's competing against are also great. And so she highlighted a few names. And so I feel like that's a very simple way to do that. So it's like, okay, yeah, Caitlin Clark mentioned Maya Moore, Cheryl Swoops, and all these amazing black women that came before her, as she should. But it could have been just as easy for her to mention people that she's been playing against that she actually knows that are in her class. That should have been highlighted this year as well. And so I don't think that it's solely on them, but I do think that, everybody should be doing their part to make the media more diverse and just fair in terms of coverage.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
who knows better than I feel like the people that are playing against them and coaches the talent that these other players have. Like people say it all the time. I know how good someone is because I'm doing the scout on them. Like coaches say that all the time, or I'm having to guard them. So I think that players uplifting other players is not necessarily a bad thing, but also a helpful thing. It doesn't need to be an ass kiss, but just like a hey, I recognize you as a solid competitor, and I think that you should get your shine too, which is pretty much what Paige said,
And that's
just
what
without.
Angel did with Deja Fair.
Yeah.
Like, when the opportunity comes, you see them trying to uplift each other.
Right. And so that's like the difference I think is that Angel and Juju, who are black women, pointed out specific people and like named names. And when it comes to Caitlyn and Paige, it was like, yeah, what they did was admirable, but it still was like teetering the line. They should have named names, in my opinion. That's like the tea on it. So let us pray that it gets better over time. I'm hopeful. So
You know who
no,
did give the Gamecocks a shout out though?
the real y'all can keep ESPN.
Keep on
Baby, Beyonce?
the
Beyonce
queen,
knows Carter?
the queen bee.
Okay? Beyonce's internet, the lady who runs the world for real, she knows Dawn Staley. She knows the South Carolina Gamecocks. She know all about them. She said, I watched multiple. She didn't say I watched national championship game only. She watched all season long. Watched. She said, I watched you old DEI stomp out every team in the. That's what Beyonce said. And she said, I love you, Dawn Staley. That's
She
basically
said,
what she
"I'm
said.
cocky, bitch."
Okay? So at the same time, y'all can keep ESPN, baby. We got goddamn Beyonce.
I
Okay?
hope the girls go to the tour
Please.
and get the royal treatment.
Hmm.
That would be so much fun.
I want to see on Beyonce, you know how she do on her Instagram posts, all the people that was backstage. I want to see all the girls backstage hugged up with Beyonce.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
2025, let me see it. Thank you. Period. Shit like that.
She sent Dawn Staley her flowers.
Literally. And one thing about Beyonce Florist, baby, she don't sleep because
Nah, there's no
because
way.
them flowers get sent out every day. I'm like, okay, but we love to see it. So shout out to B, shout out to the Carters. You know,
And
you
shout out
guys,
to LSU fans. I know y'all be getting tight for some reason. I don't understand it. Like, y'all really be upset for no reason. You're like, well, Flage signed to Rock Nation. That we got it first. Okay, that's fine. We are happy for Flage. We are talking about right now. We are happy for y'all. I just don't understand. We'd be happy for Angel Reese. We'd be happy for Flage. We'd be happy even for Magamoki crazy behind. And here y'all
ex-
come, ready to say, but, oh my God, but, you did not win.
oh, period.
Talk all that
And
stuff. You got the NIL. You did not win though. Who
they're
did
talking
Beyonce
about
recognize? Who won? That's it. That's all you need to understand.
all I'm gonna say is happy hoes ain't hating. And because the South Carolina Gamecocks are very happy with their national championship, honey, they're not hating on the other girls. They can, make move around. And then the LSU girls was saying, "Get your money up, baby. The money is sky high." Okay, my girls have deals. They're booked in busy, media coverage or not. That's all I'm gonna say.
And we love to see it.
So let's hope for the best for next season. We will see. We got to talk about the main event of this week. Today is April 17th that we're recording this. So, we had the WNBA draft this week. So, there's so much that comes with the draft. But most importantly, we have to talk about what really matters, and that's the outfits. The teams is cool. Where they going is that's cute.
You know, Holly will run around, be short, trying to raise the mic up like this. And that's no offense, Holly. I'm short too. I would have to look like this.
Exactly. That's all fine and dandy. But let's get into what matters, the fashions. So, we're going to break it down.
Drip or no drip, my God.
Drip or drowned. That is what it gave. Now, I will just say overall, I feel like the girls have stepped it up this year. You can definitely tell that the girls have NIL money now because even
Oh,
a
yeah,
few years ago,
and the stylists have been watching, the designers have been watching. They said, "Oh, we can market our clothes. Let me hit you up in a DM."
exactly, because before the girls were definitely giving us Macy's, K&G, Ross Dress
Shein,
for Less,
you know,
Sheen. They had to do what they had to do on a college budget, but now the
fashion,
girls,
you know.
the money is
And
long.
that's no disrespect. You do what you can with what you have. You don't have to be super rich to stunt. You just have to have good
No,
taste.
okay, you can be fly on a budget, honey, but the money do help. We can't lie.
Right.
We can't lie.
Being
Now,
rich is the best lotion.
oh, okay, never asked she. Um, so yeah, I feel like overall the fashions were definitely stepped up this year. Now let's get into. Let's start with the flops, the chops for the
Let's
night.
start with violence. I love Dia.
So I think that the worst dressed of the night for me personally, I hate to do it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but I feel like Kitley was definitely worst dressed. Mind you, she was in a boot.
I
I
mean,
get it.
and you really chose violence. You chose the person who's like in a boot first. Like,
We gotta talk. We're talking about fashions though. I know people that have prosthetic legs that put that shit on. So I just don't understand why we had to have on the funeral outfit for the draft.
ooh, rest in peace, my ACL.
Shit was
No,
still a
the
chop.
outfit, it was still a funeral.
It still the all black with the black blazer, with the dainty necklace, straight hair. No,
I
no.
think sometimes women with blonde hair do not realize how important contrast is to the way their
Mm,
outfit looks. Because when you are fair skinned with light hair and you wear a dark, dark outfit, you have to
yes,
be prepared for every flyaway in your hair to look outside. You have to be prepared for like the contrast to kind of almost make you look like a mime or something. It's like you need something to break up some of that black, or it's just going to look a little bit strange. So I think that's why the fit is a miss for me.
it just was too plain for the occasion. Um, yeah, that's just how I felt. We could have done better. That's why it was definitely a flop. Now another flop. This is not to come for the mask girlies. I love y'all. Love the studs down. Um, Deasia
Not
Fair.
us down with the hair.
But that outfit, I said, okay, a suit. You were the lone suit of the night. Heard you. That's fine. But we couldn't have got a three-piece suit. We couldn't have got a vest. We had to do a bow tie, a red bow tie with a black suit. Come on. Come on.
Talking
And it
about
wasn't
Deja
tailored.
Fair.
Huh?
You saying Deja Fair?
Yeah, Deasia Fair. Now, I I'm all fine with a black suit. A black suit can eat, but it has to be tailored to perfection. It has to have material that is thickening, or it has to have complements when we're talking about the accessory when it comes to the tie, the bow tie, the handkerchief, or whatever it's called, the cufflink, something. We have to have something that adds to it. But a red bow tie, it didn't eat. It was a chop. The sneakers, those are cute. Prada sneaker, I like that to add a little something, a little more streetwear to the suit. But overall, I hate to say it was a flop, especially because you're the only mask girly you should have put on for the people, and this just wasn't it. What did you think about the look, Coach Law? Did you like it?
I'll try to stand up a little bit for the short kings. So it's very difficult, I think, if you wanted to wear that type of suit
Mhm.
and be 5'5". I
Okay.
think it was tailored. I'm not sure how well the tailor did their job, but I think it's very difficult to find a suit that will you can fill in at 5'5".
Mm,
because a lot of women do not have the broader shoulders to fill in the top of the suit and get the right length of the arm so that it
Mm.
looks like it's tailored nice. So it's a challenge. I think she tried with the suit. I think the thing that brought the suit down, I think the suit was actually not bad, but the thing that brought the suit down is the quality of shirt and the quality of bow tie. Red bow tie, I'm sorry. It has to be very, very nice, like a like a Tom Ford or
That's what I was
Chanel,
about to say. Tom Ford, Armani.
something
Yeah.
like that to come off look without look making the suit look less expensive than it is. And if you're going to do that, I think you need like a more refined, detailed bow tie than what she had. Otherwise, it's kind of giving valet. And we don't want to give valet. We want to give throw the keys up, walk in.
Heard you.
You know?
Exactly. Very much that. It just gave ventriloquist in the worst way. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
You're already a
not
petite queen.
ventriloquist.
so,
Wow.
so let's
Gloves
let's
off, Nia. Gloves off. Ventriloquist doll? That's funny. She said, put you on the lap? That's funny. Man, oh man, oh man.
you hate
But
to
yeah,
see it.
like the haircut was good. Nails
The
were
haircut
good.
was nice.
Shoes were
Was it
good. I
originals?
think the pants were tailored correctly as well. I think the pants were good. It's
Yeah,
just
she was not
hard to
sweating.
pull off that jacket. It's very difficult. That's why I don't do it. That's why you usually don't see me in that. Or if you see me in something, it's either a tuxedo jacket, so it has to be right,
Yeah.
or it's a velvet, something like that.
And that's
To
what I was gonna say. That's what I wanted. If we're gonna
not
do a
really a
black,
true blazer, it's more of like a sport coat or a statement piece. So it looks like I'm wearing it how I want to wear it.
exactly. A black velvet suit that would have ate down. No tie needed. A crisp white shirt of high quality with some fire cufflinks. That could have been very much tea. But
Rachel said giving prom 2008.
very much that. It gave men's warehouse. I hate to say it, honey, but that's what it gave. So, chop. Now on to the next. I don't feel like we don't want to come for too many people. It really wasn't too many chops. Only other chop of the night for me personally was Leah Edwards,
That's the
and I know
only one? Oh, you are nicer than I thought.
I'm trying to be nice. I, the white, I'm not mad at the white. The body was tea. My biggest issue was those braids, and the purse was real cute. The little basketball purse. Somebody found the purse. That's a $5,000 purse, honey. It's this big, but okay, cute. But the hair, it can make. I just feel like hair, glam, accessories can make or break an outfit. And the dress wasn't bad. Like it was a decent dress. I wouldn't say it was super great, but it wasn't bad, and it fit her well. But them yellow and purple braids, with an all white dress with fringe, yikes. That's all I can say. I don't see the
Yeah.
I didn't see the vision. I can't see what look we were going for. Was this supposed to give Fashion Nova? Was it supposed to give high class? Like I really can't tell. It was a chop.
Yeah, like her face was beat, first of all.
They ate in that makeup room. Whoever
They
was
did.
eating the girls, it was tea.
Um, just let Aaliyah Boston do the braids, y'all. I'm getting sick of the colorful braids, honestly. Some of you don't, it's not really in your spirit to have colorful braids. You just do it. So I need y'all to leave that to Aaliyah Boston. Just please. You're from Canada, Aaliyah Edwards. I don't expect you to know what to do. I've never
With the
accused
hair,
anyone from Canada of having drip. I thought the dress should have been nice, but I just could not. What is the obsession with wearing white? Like, what is that
I
for
don't
people
understand
at
it.
these? at these like black tie type of events at night. Like it had an interesting cut on the side, sure,
Little
but
fringe.
if you're going to do that dress, I would have suggested having the hair up because you had a high neckline.
Mm-hmm.
And you have very good cheekbones, so putting the hair up would bring everything up.
Okay, come on. Period. You better know.
I know things about this stuff, I just don't execute them well. So
Yes, a
I thought
good
there was
old
too much
nasty
choice
tape.
bracelets, there was necklace, there's too much jewelry happening for me. With this
Yes.
neckline, it's already interesting enough with the neckline, simple
Mm-hmm.
stud earring, something like that. This chain did not match. It was just too much. So going on right
True.
here. And so it distracted from how pretty the dress could be. So that's what I have
Um,
for her. But best of luck to her, the Washington Mystics. That shit is a
yeah.
mess. I'm not gonna lie.
Definitely.
Mystics organization is a mess right now. I hope they get some free agents for her or something to help her.
Yeah, we'll get into the basketball of it all, but yeah, I feel like that was a chop. Now, this wasn't necessarily a chop; it was more of a cut. I feel as though Marquisha Davis,
Marquisha
it was
Day.
giving
I don't remember
beautiful gowns, but the gown was not eating for. It just gave me prom.
what did she wear? I can't
She had
remember.
on a black. It was an all black sequined off the shoulder gown. And so it's not a bad dress, just very plain. It was giving me prom, just giving me
Oh, okay.
just very basic. So it wasn't a chop because she didn't look bad. Everything else was giving tea. Face was beat. Her hair was cute.
Yeah.
It just was plain. Nothing interesting. Nothing to write home about. And I
Yeah.
feel like when you're a girly that isn't a household name, I wouldn't even say a household name. She is a big name at Ole Miss, but not an Angel Reese, a Caitlin Clark, a Karen Brink. Your time at the draft is really a time to shine. All eyes are on all of y'all to make a name for yourself, especially when you're looking for endorsement deals and different things. And so I feel like by picking this plain black sequin dress, it missed the mark for opportunities for future looks, deals, opportunities, giving something people to talk about, want to make the people want to know you. So that's really why I said it's a cut.
Nia says stunt. Why are
That's why I'm
y'all
like,
being shy? Why are y'all being modest? Stunt.
this is your night, honey. You're only gonna get drafted once in life. It's not like it's your birthday where it's gonna come around next year. You gotta shit on bitches. Like you gotta eat.
Yeah, not everybody is about that. Some people want to blend in, they want to seem humble. They get advice to do so. They will wear the blazer and thing like that because they want to look modest, they want to look humble. You'll hear people in the draft night say things like, "First, I just want to thank God and my family." A lot of them, they really mean it, but if you go back and you watch the history of WNBA draft, you will find that a lot of them were coached to say these things. Rebecca Lobo said it. And now all the agents tell people make sure you thank this person, make sure you thank that person. The media
Hmm.
training tells them to wear certain things. It's very interesting. There's a lot of political dynamics at play.
And
So
I
I don't
hear
know if
you,
that's the case with Marquisha Davis. Some people just, that's what she likes. She like a sequin dress. She gonna wear a sequin dress, right?
but it didn't
Um,
have to be that sequin dress. That's all
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
And
Because
and
if
I
you
understand.
want to wear a shiny dress, we know who did that. You can do it and do it well.
Let's since we're already bringing it up, we got to get into the tens, to the hits of the night
Tens,
because, like
tens
I
of
said, there
country.
wasn't too many chops. It was more hits than misses, but it was a clear win. I feel like there was a clear, two winners of best dress of the night. But hey, one wasn't even in the draft to me. Hey, but let's
They
just let's
ate
just
y'all up.
let's talk about it because Paige Beckers attended the draft in support of Nika Mule and Aaliyah Edwards, her teammates from UConn. She was dressed in an all white Louis V, y'all. Louis V head to toe. She even had the crossbody Louis V bag all white with the gold hardware. It was a
Under the
vest
combo.
under the,
Big Uncle energy.
but it ate like I. I personally, the people were saying that it was giving pallbearer. People were not feeling it, but me
The
personally, I
people
feel like
don't know.
that's what I said. I said the girls don't have taste for real. They don't see the vision. They don't see the vibes. Paige is the first white stud I have ever seen in my life, and she taking it, honey. That outfit, hey,
Okay? She said, I'm buttercream Paige, okay?
okay,
No,
and
that was not on my bingo card. I did not expect Paige to do all of that. It was
me
bold, and I love it.
Me either. Like I know this is not your draft, but to see you eat just like this, it just was. I have to give her tens, and I just want to say, whoever did the styling on it, they got it perfect. Like clearly, we know that Paige is. I wouldn't necessarily, even though I'm joking and saying she's the first white stud, she's not necessarily a stud, but she definitely tends to like lean more to the masculine side, but not too far. So like the way that they styled her hair, I feel like was perfect to go with like the
I'm so
outfit.
glad she did
And
not have
then
those braids in the front.
the anchor braids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the ponytail that she'd be wearing, but it was styled. They had her hair down, like half up, half down, very cute. And they still, kept her with a purse. So it was like the perfect mix between masculine and feminine. I just thought that it was a top tier outfit, honestly. I would put that bitch on today. Like it
No,
was
I
hard.
never wanted a vest so bad in my life.
It wasn't even the vest for me. It's the white shirt underneath.
Yeah,
The
the white
logo
mini
shorts.
shirt under was really top tier. The layering was very nice. The only note I have is from my sister, who is a stylist, Stevie. She said the
Hmm.
only thing she would have done differently with that is tailor the bottom of the pants different, hem
I
them
hear that.
correctly so that you see a little sock or something. But
So
other
you
than
see,
that, it was clear as day that Paige is not afraid to stunt, and I
okay,
love that about her. Okay, Uncle
and
Buckets.
okay, come on to the cookout, honey. Yeah, I love it. I'm a Gemini, y'all. I live to stunt. Like that is who I am to my core. So when the girls stunt, like I have to applaud, and she did what she came to do. She showed the bitches up at a draft that she wasn't even getting drafted in.
Yeah, that's a damn shame.
That's how you eat. Um, but yes, but Paige very much tends. Now, the the eater, oh, I don't want to say eater, the winner. Oh, that was a bad one. The winner
Yeah,
of the night,
like
when it
that.
comes to vegetables, none other than Miss Angel Reese, honey, my good
Yes,
cousin.
man.
My, it was giving body. It was giving hair. It was giving sparkle. It was giving.
It's giving drama.
It was giving masha Allah. It just
Not fun.
man.
Oh my God, my Muslims, please forgive us. That's so much.
it just wow. Now, mind you, it was a very simple look, like the hood with the draping, but it was just enough because she was giving body.
Correct.
Like when you give body,
Angel
you
will
don't
give
really,
body. She is not shy. Okay.
you don't gotta do too much. And then they just started perfectly jet black middle part bust down,
Whew.
and the bundles was flowing. That was mink, honey. I know raw hair when I
Goodness.
see. Okay, them is $1,000 bundles. The girls can't even spell bundle.
It was giving
Yes,
waterfall, just draping down. It was
just
excellent.
very much tens. Now, my only critique, I wasn't a fan of the shoe. I understand that it was a lot going on, the drapery, the sparkles, that they wanted to keep the shoe simple. But I feel like the pointy toe shoe is in so much right now. They could have ate with even a metallic pointed toe shoe. I feel like that would have just ate the look
Yeah,
more than
yeah, but
the
you're not a
old
size
school
12 and a
strap.
half.
This is true.
So your pointy shoe and her pointy shoe, because she a stallion, not the same pointy shoe.
You are absolutely correct. However, I wouldn't have zoomed in on my shorty's feet. I wouldn't have made it a note. I just want to see a little peek. That's it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little something. That was my only critique. Everything, the face was beat to perfection. I'm sick. The girls keeps trying to say that she's ugly. Ugly where?
I mean,
Let's be for
it,
real.
I don't even want to start with that because
It's the hateration in the dancery.
it's really hating. It's just hating. Like,
I don't know. I wanted to send her a DM and be like, "You're taking it, honey." She just ate so bad. I just loved it. That was very much the winner of the night in terms of people that got drafted. Now I have to give honorable mentions to my Detroit sister, Miss Rakia Jackson, who
yes,
had two outfits
because she's big too, and not number two.
and not number two. First of all, the face card never declined. Rakia didn't have to do too much. Period. She was
No,
gonna eat regardless. Off the face alone. Then
right.
she went and got the wig laid to perfection. Then she had two outfits. Now, the first outfit was a red off the shoulder, double breasted jumpsuit. Cute. Very classy, though. I was like, okay. I didn't know the girl was giving classy. But then she popped out with an all silver sparkle suit with a bralette underneath to match with her buffs on. If you're a Detroiter or you know anything about Detroit culture, you know how important that is. Cartier, the bus, she ate. Snapped
No, the Cartier
her
was drip for real.
with the three crosses. I haven't seen
Oh,
those are
sheesh.
exclusive.
No, I
Okay,
never. It was giving rich.
very wealthy. She said, who is broke, honey? I'm cashing Trump checks. That's what
Correct.
she said. Period. She
And the
ate.
face ate everybody. I don't know what that was she had on, but like they baked the fuck out of her. Like it's really crazy.
Yeah, that press that whatever that translucent powder they use.
Yeah, that translucent powder was hitting. I know I'm like not the kind of girl that does these things, but I know about these things.
I mean, you're still a girl.
I'm still a girl's girl, not a guy's girl.
Okay, it's a difference. So you know the thing. Yes, so shout out to Miss Rakia Jackson, very much her. Now her new teammate, the Barbie, not the Bayou Barbie, but the Malibu Barbie, Cameron Brink, she ate as well. She was giving us body. I said that leg, that's a
High
stallion leg
slit.
right there.
High
The
slit.
slit was it was about to give. It was up to the coochie, but
It,
it was
it was a high
it was
risk.
very scandalous.
Yeah, it was a high risk endeavor.
But it ain't. I can't lie. It was a very simple black with a like a trim dress, but a mean slits with that leg, and the leg was popping to you. You could tell. She said, "Baby, I stay in the gym."
Correct.
I said, "Chins." Here in the face. Now, Miss Cameron, I don't give white women too much, but that face,
They contoured the fuck out of her face. Oh my god. Sharp edges.
it was just the eyeliner. It was just very, Black Swan. You know that movie
Yeah,
with the dancer,
it was
like,
like giving
yeah.
Corvette on the face. Just sleek
I said,
edges.
wow, wow, wow. This is a c word I can't say. This is it. She ate that. She ate that. So I loved it. Now, speaking of the c words, we have to talk about Miss Caitlin Clark.
Do we have to? I'm not
We
even a hater on Kaylin. Like, I'm just saying, do we have to talk about this?
I want to talk about it because I feel like there's mixed reviews. Some girls were liking the fit. Some were saying that it's hideous. Me personally, I'm an in-betweener. If you don't know, Caitlyn was dressed by Prada, so she was completely decked out in all Prada fit. She had on a crop top, sequined Prada top with a satin long sleeve. It looked like a shacket, like a shirt jacket with a matching skirt set. that had diamond cufflinks on it. And to me personally, I thought that the shacket and the skirt ate. My dilemma was the sequin top, crop top underneath. Not that it was a crop top was what I had an issue with. The fact that it was sequined and that it was gray, and they paired it with this cream outfit, and everything had logos on it. I feel like after seeing what Paige had on, and we know that it was a complete Louis Vuitton outfit, but you could barely tell except for the shirt that she had underneath that had the a monogram on it. Then you have Caitlyn with everything that says Prada on it. I just feel like it was overdone in that terms. And the styling of the shoe just made it give elderly slightly, but it was still confusing because she had on a crop top. It just, I don't want to say it was a chop. I don't even want to say it was a cut. It just was blah, like I don't know. To be the number one draft pick, you got to eat, honey. And this did not
It
eat.
was giving rich, but I don't know what to do with it.
That's exactly it. That's the perfect. Sometimes
New
when people
money.
have money, they just buy labels, but they don't have no style. That's what it gave. It's like, okay, I have money, so I'm gonna put the labels on, but I don't know how to style this stuff for real. I don't have a fashion bone in my body for real. Like,
And I'm
that's what it gave.
honestly quite surprised because if you wanted to be in a blazer, Prada got blazers. Even if you want to be in a cropped jacket number, Prada got that too. I would have liked to see Caitlyn in one of those Prada or F Prada really. Like I don't give a fuck about Prada. Like one of those like Valentino blazer
Yes.
dresses.
That could have ate.
That could have ate one of
Cut out from
those.
the side. Mm-hmm.
Prada got double breasted blazers, kind of like what Andrea Carter wears.
Yeah.
They look good on women who are like slimmer, sleeker, don't have a lot of body curve. The double
Yes.
breasted blazer, and it give you a shoulder pad, so you look like
Yes to
right
exactly.
and
That's why I hope.
everything. It looked like she was trying to go to like the MTV Awards, but like last minute. Like it didn't look like she was the person to see at the draft. And even the glasses, I think, were a good idea, but it overdid everything.
Very much. So.
The
It was
jacket
giving me
just
J
swallowed
Lo.
her up. She was swimming in the jacket, so it wasn't giving enough with that skirt. Like, even if she had just taken the jacket off and held it with the crop top,
Mm,
like that would have been better, I think, than wearing the jacket over the crop top and made her look like she was hiding herself or something.
yeah, it just gave. Caitlyn always just gives me confusing a little bit. I don't know if it's just who's styling her. Maybe she's confused. She's still just trying to figure out herself, who she is, and her personal style. But it just gives like I'm cosplaying as somebody that I'm not. Like, I
Yeah, and
think
she's
that's
such a
why.
confident baller. Like when she walk in that tunnel, you see the intensity behind her eyes. Like she's ready. You know, she should have been in something where she looked that kind of confident. I would have even liked her to see her in that crop top, but like a very like a cool pants that was like a
That's
thick pants that was like
yes,
leather, something like that, or
exactly. Or even like a satin like black cargo plane that could have ate really
yeah,
bad with that.
satin black cargo with the Cartier glasses, or were they Cartier? I don't know. They're probably Prada.
No, they were Prada too. Everything was Prada down.
Prada.
Head
Okay,
to toe.
that's part of the problem, I think. Like that,
Yeah,
she
it
is
just was
the kind of
overdone.
person that they like to dress. If you look at Prada models, they like a skinny woman, dark hair, middle part. That's what they like. But they missed the ball. Like I don't know if they were trying too hard to make the fit look sporty, and so they did too much.
Hmm.
But they dropped the ball. And yeah, I mean, she's still number one pick. She still looked rich. She just did not look comfortable.
Yeah,
And
not comfortable, not confident. I would have liked to have seen her even in a Balmain outfit. I
ooh,
feel like that would have ate a Balmain suit. That's perfect, and it's still classy, but it would have gave. Balmain can be feminine and it can be more gender neutral.
a cute little skirt suit. She should have went with Chanel because Chanel.
They
That's the look. The cute short suit, skirt, blazer, little bag. That's really giving Chanel, not Prada to me.
exactly, and that's why it just yeah, it just didn't work. It yeah, very confusing. Not giving. Now the rest of the girlies, they didn't. Everybody, they just looked nice. I just say that they were okay. I think that Alyssa Peely, wow, I knew she was a pretty girl, but that face card ate. They beat her face down. I
Yeah.
said, give her tens. The tribal dress, I get what she was trying to do, put on for her culture. I think that it was a nice idea. Do I think that it was executed perfectly? Absolutely not. Especially when you're dressing someone that is not so petite, you need to give them shape in the outfit. It needs to be built into it. It's not going to create it on its own. And so I feel like they kind of missed the mark and they just put her in, what old school people used to wear, an A-line dress. And so they could
I
have did
would
something way
like
more.
the leg and thing.
That could have been really, really cute, something floral like that, or
It was a
even
little too
just
long at the top.
even we didn't have to go completely. If she wanted to incorporate the tribal into her look, it could have easily been a tribal bag that they created, or like a shoe or something, and that it didn't need to be the whole bottom of the dress. It just to me didn't give. And then for the top to just be basic black, it missed. But her face and her hair, she looked beautiful. So overall, the girls definitely stepped it up this year compared to I feel like last year. Uh,
Yeah, last year was a mess.
yeah, the only person I really liked last year was Zaya's look, but that was it. So,
Johnny looked cute, yeah. The rest of y'all looked a mess.
oh, Coach Sean said y'all look a mess, honey. And that's fair. So now that we have, given the girls their tins, gave out our chops and our flops on the fits, I guess we got to talk about while we're really here, the basketball of it all. Where did everybody go? What number did they get drafted at? Do we think that they're going to the right organization and what that looks like? So as we said and mentioned, we already knew, everybody in the world knew Caitlin Clark was going to be the number one draft pick. She is going to the Indiana Fever to play alongside none other than South Carolina Gamecocks' own Aaliyah Boston. Yeah, we've known this the whole time. There was no doubt that she was going to be drafted number one and where she was going. So I don't think it was much of a surprise. I don't think it was super exciting or anything really to write home about. We knew it.
Good for Indiana.
Um,
Aaliyah finally got some help. My God. Lexi
please,
got some
because they
help. My God. And I think it's
um
really good for Caitlin's brand too because she's still like in that Midwestern, Western
Midwest.
area. Like the fans gonna follow her wherever she goes. There's no doubt about that. But I'm glad for her.
Very much.
Too
I'm
bad
excited to
Gino
see.
didn't recruit her because she would have a national championship probably, or she would
Oh,
have at least went and it would have been a closer game. She still would have lost to the Gamecocks, but yeah, she still was the number one pick. She still landed in Indiana. Her and Aaliyah will be a dynamic duo, I think. Off a pick and roll, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that before.
yeah, I'm excited to see what it's going to give and see how it all plays out, how much playing time she's actually going to get because there's still quite a few veterans on their team, but I think that we all know Caitlin brings eyes to the game, even though she's a rookie, and that she will likely be a starter. If not a starter, definitely a six man off the bench. So she went number one. Now, there was a little bit of speculation about who was going to go number two. For the most part, people had the consensus that it was going to be Cameron Brink, but there were some talks about whether Camilla had moved up or Rakia had moved up to the number two spot. But ultimately, Cameron Brink did go number two in the draft. She got drafted by none other than the LA Sparks, so she's staying in California. Yeah, I personally, I'm not mad at it. Do I love it? Am I like super excited about it? No, because I feel like LA is a little bit lost. I know that they're trying to go for a young group. They're basically starting from scratch as an organization. So I think that it's nice to have pieces to build around. But I feel like LA has quite a bit of enough bigs already that are quality. And so I don't know how much Cameron moves the needle for the LA Sparks.
I think there's a chance she can. I think that having her and Dearica Hamby, it makes them stronger. in the post. And I think that it's a good organization for her because they are known for having good bigs. They will develop her. They will need her defensively now that they do not have Ogumake. So I think it was the right choice. And I think she will see more playing time than if she was at another organization, which is good for a rookie. She's
Very
still
true.
close to her fan base as well, still in California. So I think that was a good move for her. I'm not sure guard wise what the Sparks are giving still. Like, I know Jordan Canada had a great
Zaya,
season last year, but now she's gone. Zaya is
right.
there, of course, and nobody should sleep on Zaya. Zaya can hoop, but I
Right.
think they still need that good consistency from guard play, and it's going to be hard to tell until we see it in action.
Very much so. I think that Cam, yeah, she's a good addition, but the guards is really what is perplexing to me for them. Like you said, don't sleep on Zaya. Zaya is one of my favorite players. I think that she's very talented and just needs some more time to come into her own in terms of pro play. I think that having Lexi Brown back this year, she was out with her
Yeah, that's
illness
right.
last year, will be different. Having Ray Burrell, even though she was really good towards the end of last year, she had a pretty good AU season too. So I think that, it'll be interesting to see. It's just such a young core on what that looks like and what that looks like under Kurt too. Because I feel like he has a very specific system, and I don't know if these players necessarily fit that.
Well, they're
So
smart, Lord, so
it'll
that's
be
good.
interesting. Very good chance of making that roster. Now, so that's number two. Now, number three. I'm not gonna say I was surprised based on her play in the postseason, especially in the national championship game. Very dominant. Camila Cardoso is the number three pick. She is going to Chicago Sky. Did I necessarily want her going to Chicago? That wouldn't necessarily been my choice for her, but I'm not mad at it. I think that her being under Teaspoon is quite cool. I feel like Teaspoon is going to be a player's coach. As she was a player, she's someone that can relate, and I think she'll take good care of Camilla. And I think that they have other good, decent bigs on the Chicago Sky that Camilla can learn under, like Isabel Harrison. I forget who else they have. And plus, they have pretty good guards that can really be in that pick and roll with her. I think about like Diamond DeShields will be there, Dana Evans as the
Or
point guard. I feel like it's going to be
I
very
think this
cute.
guy can really cook. It might take them a year or two to really build that chemistry, but once my girl the Shield's back, man, y'all better watch out. Like the Shield's been cooking me since I was like nine
Watch
years
out.
old, and she coming back with a vengeance. She ain't never been out this long without playing, without hooping. Like I know she's probably itching to hoop, so I feel bad for y'all. Honestly, she's gonna be blazing a trail on y'all. And then you got Camilla down there in the post, swatting bitches shots. Then on the other side, you got Angel
Block.
Reese. Whew, it's gonna be a
Right.
mess.
Going up on the offensive boards. It's not going to be a rebound they don't get. Like, it's going to be so crazy. So, Angel Reese was drafted number 7 to Chicago Sky. And so, very crazy. If you're not tapped in or you didn't see the game in the SEC championship game against LSU in South Carolina, we know that there was a little bit of contention between
There's a
Camilla
bit of a
and
scuffle.
Angel. Is it real beef or was yeah, just a little trash talking back and forth, a little bumpity bump down in the post. And so for them to now be teammates, I feel like it's interesting. But I do think they are going to complement each other well in terms of Angel not needing to play the five anymore. I think that she's going to be way more successful playing as a four or as a three. Um, so
And she will be challenged in practice every day having to shoot against that. She will have to really work on her footwork, really work on her up and under, all of those things that she claims she wants to work on to be humbled as a rookie. So I like it. And I think they'll be a good tag team, WWE SmackDown in the paint. Instead of fighting each other on different teams, they'll be fighting together.
And I also feel like it's a very good culture fit for Angel and Camilla. Like I was just talking about with having Teaspoon as a coach. I know that they just announced that Ty Young is now in the coaching. Also, just being in Chicago, I feel like Chicago is a very black city, and they could really get behind Angel and really push her. And I feel like they could really hone in on a culture piece there. And plus,
Speaking of
they both
backing
give like baddie, like stallion kind of vibes. Yeah, so it could be real cute. I don't. Are they going to be besties? I don't know, but we'll see.
they'll have a good relationship with Dwayne Wade now, which will be good since he's a part of the ownership. All around, I think it's great.
My only hesitation with them going to the Chicago Sky was the lack of accommodations that they have as an organization. I feel like they're, very much a step behind a lot of other organizations in terms of not having a real practice facility, their arena just being okay, and just not having all the necessary things they need to succeed. So, with people that are still working on their game and wanting to improve, like Angel has said that she wants to be in the lab every day and start from the bottom, I just hope that they have provided her with an environment where she can actually be successful in that, in terms of going to Chicago. So
She'll be all right. She's from Baltimore.
Baltimore, shout out Baltimore. Now the number 4 pick,
The number
uh,
4 pick.
that was Rakia.
Oh,
I don't know
duh.
why I'm blanking. Rakia Jackson, who also got
Sorry,
drafted
Jackson.
to LA.
Oh, well, then that solved the guard problem. Why are we even talking about LA anymore? Jesus.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, man.
Rakia Jackson is the team. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. It's about to be a
She's
movie in
about,
LA for real this time.
yeah, her and Kim, they don't really need too much. They
they're
don't.
giving,
They're
they're
gonna
giving
cook.
pro. They're giving pro energy. They've been beating up on little girls their senior year. Oh, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yes. I'm very excited. I'm also just excited for Rakia to be like in a big market because I just want her to like blow up. I feel like she has such the potential. Like we said, she's so theatrical on the court. Beautiful, beautiful face as well. Just so many opportunities that can happen for her on and off the court. So I
Yeah,
hope she's
she's
in a big
got
market.
all of the qualities you want as a star player, as a potential face of the league. Like she has the whole package. So LA is a great landing spot for her. I think she will have fun there and she will learn a lot there.
Yes.
Yeah, LA looks good now. Never mind. I was
And
worried about them. Now I'm not.
right, they got Rakia. I'm not so worried. That's why I'm like all the teams that were at the bottom, they're starting to look good. So just to like give more of a summary of basically where everybody went. Alyssa Peely, she was drafted to the Minnesota Lynx. I think that was a decent spot for her to land. I think that her working under Cheryl will be very interesting. I think that Cheryl will maybe know how to utilize her in a unique way because I just feel like they have so many guards. So having someone that's not, well, not necessarily not a guard, but a very versatile player, I think it's helpful for the Lynx.
Yeah, I only thing I worry about with Alyssa is the speed. She
Mm,
definitely has the strength. She definitely has a good knowledge of basketball. She's a very smart player. She's very fundamental. I just kind of worry about speed, and that might take time. But that's what it's for. That's what the rookie season is for development, learning how to do something in a new environment. So I think they'll treat her right over there. I hope so.
very much so. And so the rest of the draft, at least in the first round, was mostly a lot of foreign players. We had some French ladies, I think someone from Australia that also got drafted in the first round. So I'm not as familiar with their game. I know you said that you had mentioned that you were familiar with one of them. Um, and so that's kind of how like the first round shook out. Now, when it comes to round two, I feel like this is where a lot of the steals in the draft happened because these could have been first rounders or just quite elite players. So, as we mentioned before, to me, I feel like the Aces kind of did their big one in terms of who they drafted. So, in the second round, they got none other than Deasia Fair, who is the third all time leading scorer in the NCAA. Crazy. Also, is a short guard who is going to go now play for the ultimate short guard, Becky Hammond. They also went and got Kate Martin, who, if y'all don't know, is Caitlin Clark's bestie, who played for Iowa, who's also very good.
Gonna have to
And
recover from injury, but definitely a
right,
sharpshooter.
very much so. Whenever she is healed and ready to hit the court. And another injured player that they got, who also was a steal, who went in the third round, was Elizabeth Kitley, who was projected last year or even early in this college season to be a lottery pick. And so for her to go so late due to her having an injury, but going to the Aces, I think is a perfect fit. So they really cleaned up, honestly, because Kitley, she's gonna when she is healed, she can do her big one, and I feel like you mentioned to me offline that it just sets the Aces up to be in a good place to eventually replace their older players that will retire, such as Chelsea Gray, such as um,
Candace
Candace
Parker.
Parker, in addition to the pieces that they already have. So they ate down when it comes, and they
No,
definitely
the
got
Aces
some major
organization knows.
steals.
The Aces organization knows what they're doing. I mean, I know she got injured, but they. At first, I was annoyed she got went late in the second round, but Kidley, she was averaging what, like 17, 18 points a game. She was like 55% field goal percentage. Like
I think she
she
was getting like 20 and 10. I thought her average was like 20 and 10.
that's crazy.
Crazy,
So
yeah. She's
yeah,
literally a walking double
they
double.
racked up. They racked up. And I
And
understand
yes,
the
Deasia Fair was a little
of the other teams, like they want to try to get somebody that they can play right now because they
right.
suck.
Exactly. So the Aces have the luxury to
Yeah,
draft people that are going to go in the future because they can go for three people who they got on their roster today.
correct.
Uh, but it's also just nasty that y'all are allowing them to get these players and sit them and rest them to be ready to do that because it's giving dynasty.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you already got back to back, to me, I know they say three is a dynasty, but let's be serious. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get
Very much.
three.
You're very confident. I'm confident, kind of as well. It's giving
Is it
three to
gonna
me.
be a little bit harder because now the Storm has a team? Maybe New York has gotten
Phoenix.
their life together over the summer, over the break, rather. Maybe. I don't know. But I know one thing,
Well,
the culture at Aces is unmatched. You cannot beat the culture that they like each other. That is the hardest thing to make happen for a team. I know people think it's like, seems like, why wouldn't they like each other? That's one of the hardest things. Think about like just your interpersonal relationships with one other person. You can have disagreements, right? So if you got 12, 15 people on a roster and you all have to try to get along and you're all highly competitive, it's a tough thing to do to build that kind of chemistry and culture. So if they keep that, I think they have what they need. They're talented. They have the best coach in basketball, probably next to Don Staley.
yep. It's it's quite unfair. But speaking of New York, they drafted Marquisha Davis, who we mentioned before, in the first round, which I think is a great pick. She's a very good shooter and very defensively sound, which I feel like in New York needs some defense. But they didn't necessarily draft, but they did sign Jalen Sherrod to a training camp contract and Caitlin Davis, who played for USC. And so I feel like those are really great picks, especially Jalen Sherrod. I
Yeah.
think it was crazy that she went undrafted to me. She had a stellar season last year, a great season this year as well. I understand that she is small. However, her passing ability, her leadership, um, just who she is as a point guard, I think is so um,
It
is
fits
very
the league
talented and just
mold a lot. Her defensive skills, like, I hope she gets another opportunity.
how fast she plays. Yeah, and so I think that what we saw a little bit, especially in New York, when it comes to those final games is that Sloot was not showing up a lot of times, and she is their point guard. And so having someone who could come in for even a couple minutes to fulfill that role and be successful, I think could be a key piece for New York. And so I think Jalen is a perfect person to learn under Sloot or to have that role. So I'm hopeful and that she'll make the roster. And Marquisha Davis, like I said, very good shooter, great defensive mind, especially because word on the street is Benai Jelani is pregnant, so she may be out this season. So I definitely think that it's a really strong chance that Marquisha will make the New York roster.
We
I feel
love
like New
to see.
York kind of did their big one a little bit.
They made good choices, good selections. Unexpected, but good.
Exactly.
They like Mississippi. They recruit Mississippi, apparently. They got some Mississippi State,
Hmm,
Miss Ole Miss. I wonder what's going on there, who their recruiter is. I need to look that up.
very interesting. Now, I feel like we kind of talked about people that who got the pieces that they needed in the draft, so we got to talk about people who didn't. I feel like moved the needle out in the draft, and I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but Atlanta Dream, what the hell was y'all doing?
What they always do.
Foolishness.
Unserious.
They pissed me clean off. They're very unserious. I said, who are these people that y'all are picking?
They be
I said, do
overseas.
y'all not want to win? It
They be
just,
overseas.
it didn't make sense to me. I said, all overseas people, I understand that they definitely pretty much, you know, got second place when it comes to free agency and picking up Jordan Canada and Aerial Powers and, making those moves. But, child, y'all still needed more than that you could have easily gotten this draft. But, hey, they was not on their P's and Q's. But the
Look,
team that
they
I feel
went
like was
overseas. Maybe they know something we don't know.
maybe I would like them to give us a hint, blink twice, do something because it's looking real crazy, real crazy.
I
Now the
will
people that
say
disappointed me the most
Boles,
because
Isabel
hmm
Boles, she's a hooper.
oh yeah. Okay, you did say that. I think that was the one international hooper that you had watched or heard
Yeah,
about.
I've heard her a couple of
Okay.
times. I've seen her stuff a couple of times. She was in Australia and she played for the Lightning. And she started, I think, in professional, doing like underworld. From what I understand, she's already like led her like U19 and U18 teams to like the championship in FIBA. So I think she's going to be a good player. I don't know how long it's going to take for her to develop, but I think there's definitely some potential.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see how that shakes out. Now, another disappointing who disappointed me in the draft, my team, my Connecticut Sun. What the fuck were we doing? I don't know. Who we're picking, I don't know. It just, yeah, I'm very lost. I'm convinced that
They
they don't
dropped
want
the
to win,
ball.
or that they're convinced that the pieces that they have are enough to get it done, which I
They
fear
need
they're
a
not.
three-point shooter bad,
Real bad.
real bad.
Yeah, they just, I said, no, what are we doing, honey? This just didn't make no sense. We needed an extra backup big because Bernadette, baby, she didn't play about 3 minutes last year. Breezy was out hurt, so she's still coming back off injury. It's just looking a hot mess. I don't understand what we were doing. Clearly nothing. Very much thumbs down. Now, the other team who didn't do bad but didn't do great, I feel like was the Washington Mystics. They did draft Aaliyah Edwards, which I feel like is, very much a solid pick. I just don't know how much she moved the needle because they already have Shakira Austin. I think they needed a point guard. They lost Cloud.
Yeah,
They
they
needed
need
another
a.
big. Elena Deladon back.
Maybe they're counting on free agency for that. I don't understand that. But they need a point guard bad. I mean, I
Real
think
bad.
some of it is
Real.
these guards did not declare for the draft this year. So, like, if you were one of those
Mm,
teams that needed a guard, you kind of got the short end of the stick in the first round, in my opinion, because you could not get
true.
a Haley
There
Van
was a
Lith,
lot of
you could
bigs.
not get a Paige Beckers, you could not get a Georgia Amore, because they old ass is still in college. So I kind of understand why you were like, oh shit, well, who do I pick? Because everybody else got the better forwards. Now you're sitting here like, well, what do I do? I don't necessarily understand what you were saying. Like Lacan, I was remembering, she's French. So I'm probably saying it wrong. I don't speak French. I never tried. I always say the words wrong. Croissant. I'm from the South. I don't care. I say whatever I want.
Chris
So
Paul.
Lacan even was like a good guard to get, but she's not even playing in the W this summer, I don't think, because she's gonna be playing with the
For her
French
national
team
team.
in the Olympics. So you can't even use her. So like the guards were kind of anywhere and everywhere this year, but the W. So unless you could get Caitlin Clark, you kind of like, damn. All the other point guards was like, nah, she already
Right.
cooked me in college. I'm not trying to go to the league and get cooked again as a rookie. Like they all stayed scared and they all went back to college. So I don't know, man. The only one I give an exception to is Paige because she was really hurt bad. But
All right,
Haley's
that makes
ass
sense.
just made a
But I do
mistake.
feel
Thought she was going to win a national championship if she went to LSU. She should have known better than that.
But speaking of the Mystics, I did see that honestly Scott Grayson did sign a training camp contract with the Mystics. So I'm interested to
Oh,
see what that looks like. To me, she had a rough last few games at Auburn, but for the most part of the season, she was
she
very
was
solid for
good.
them. Their number one scorer, and so she might make something shake at the Mystics. She might make a roster.
She might, actually. I mean, that's the team to try to make the roster at. They suck right now.
Okay,
Now that they don't have Cloud,
real trash.
it's going to be real trash over there for a second. Either them or the Dream.
Very
Dream need a guard bad. Oh my God. It's so
bad.
embarrassing. They lucky I like that
And the
stadium.
only
That's another person
you're
that's
like,
that
or I would support
bad
them.
should have came to college. Pow. You know, Gamecocks don't get exceptions with me. Pow pow, you should have graduated college and went to the league. What is going on?
She said, "I'm trying to do one
Be a
more
fifth
year."
year
I
shorty.
don't even think that. Yeah, I just don't know how much more she's going to develop at South Carolina.
She's just gonna develop another ring. That's what she think
And
anyway. She's just
I
gonna get
mean,
another.
that's true too. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but you already got one sister.
You already moved
Do
from
we have to
Oregon.
have two?
Get a ring. Check that off the list. You got the best 3-point percentage. You know,
Right.
out of college. You got a natty. Like grow up. That's what I
Should
say.
have took your ass to the league.
Speaking of old ass God, shout out Mackenzie Forbes. Mackenzie Forbes.
Man, the Forbes list, y'all know I love Mackenzie Forbes down. I think she's an awesome leader, and she good for a good shot, honey.
She's good
She
for a
is
good
good
shot.
for a clutch shot.
She never scared.
And so she's staying home. She got drafted in the third round to LA Sparks. So that
He,
could also help solve some of their guard problems.
yeah, if she don't get waived, Sparks be tripping.
Yeah. And so that kind of sums up mostly the draft. But I'm so glad that you mentioned waves because that just takes us into the next segment, which is the growth of the game and how it's going to shock all of these people in the coming weeks. So, for those that are not familiar with how the normal schedule works, so the draft has happened on April 15th. Then there is going to be training camp, and training camp lasts about 2 weeks. At the end of training camp, training camp, then they'll go to preseason games, which will be at the very beginning of May, and then there will be final roster cuts. So the last day to cut will be on May 13th. And if you don't know, every team has to get down to 12 is the max amount of players that they can have on a roster. And so some teams have up to 15 and some even have all the way up to 18 current people on the roster. So that means that 6 people, up to potentially 6 people, are
Go
going to be getting
home.
cut from these rosters. So some of your faves
Are finna get waived. I know
are
there's
going
a
to get cut,
lot
are going to get
of
waived.
Blue fans. Please do not be too upset. I know it's scary. You're like, how? They were one of the best players in college. How did this happen? I felt that way about Bree Beal last year. I thought everybody who cut her was crazy as hell. She was a pro. She could
I
play
thought
defense.
Destiny Henderson getting waived.
Teach people how to play offense. They would learn willingly. Defense, you usually cannot coach that into a player's brain after a certain level. They just check out. They don't care enough about the defense. Bree Beal was not one of those people. And
About
she
defense.
shoot. She just didn't shoot that much while she was at South Carolina because she didn't have to. Now, I was so upset that they waived her. You can go on my Twitter. I was complaining. I was saying they suck. I was saying they dumb. And now she's at my favorite team, Las Vegas Aces. She got picked up in free agency. So you just have to let God's divine planning happen for you. And now your FanDuel will be successful because you have the player you want on your parlay.
What did Don Sally say? Uncommon favor, honey.
Correct.
Sometimes stuff works out better than you could have even planned it. So for Bree going to Las Vegas, chef's kiss. I hope that she makes the roster. Love that for her. Yes, so for all the new girlies, guys, gays, whoever, theys, that is how this schedule is going to shake out. Please keep your Twitters on, keep your Instagrams on, be locked in because it's going to come and it's going to be shocking and it's going to be overwhelming, but you will make it through. We have all been through our first training camp waving when it comes to the W. And
Wave
so,
season.
and so since we are speaking to new fans, another major topic that has been on women's basketball, Twitter, Instagram, the whole interwebs the last few days is talking about WNBA salaries. So I feel like this has been a conversation, honestly, has been ongoing for the whole season. Like sporadically, it pops up out of nowhere. But because the rookie salaries post the draft were announced what everybody was going to be making, mostly Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, people are in uproar about how much the W players make, especially the rookies. And so we have a lot of celebrities, a lot of pro athletes coming out and saying that it's egregious that these ladies make what they make. And you have some people who are saying that they should just go work a desk job because they'll make more at a desk job. Now, what I'm going to say to y'all, is it egregious and wrong? Absolutely. Do I think these women should be making 60, 70K? Absolutely not. They're professional athletes. However, there is so many factors that you have to take into account when you are looking at what pro athletes make, especially now that NIL is a thing. So, just so we're clear, NIL does not go away just because they got drafted and no longer in college. It's just no longer called NIL. It's now called a what? An endorsement. Yes, 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 yes. Say it with us. Endorsement. Okay. So they still get to keep their endorsements based on if they have long term deals with brands, whoever, whether that's shoe companies like a Nike or a Reebok or a Under Armour, and all of their other brand deals that they have and were making money. But now they also have an additional salary. So to say that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, these people that are at the very top of the earning when it comes to NIL and endorsement deals are going to suffer, it's just ridiculous. They're not. Is the salary egregious? For sure. But they also have their endorsements. Caitlin Clark has over $3 million in endorsements. I guarantee you she doesn't need that 70K, but she's going to get it. So please just keep your pennies not so much in a bunch. And if y'all want to see the salaries increase, you need to support. And I don't mean just watch a game. I don't mean just attend a game. People need to put their money where their mouth is. There needs to be marketing. The league has to have sign a new marketing deal. They have to do a new viewership deal or a TV deal or whatever. There's so many factors that go into how the players get paid and how the league makes money. It's not simply, oh, if I just watch, they'll make more money. So please keep that in
Yeah. A couple of things I'd like to add to that is we already know about the basic things, most of us, right? The revenue gap, for example. Like the NBA is a bigger moneymaker than WNBA. We know that. The NBA gets more revenue from TV deals and ticket sales and all of that stuff compared to the WNBA. And the attendance and media coverage, the NBA enjoys a higher average attendance. And because of that, there's simply less overall interest in the WNBA, is the theory, which means less money is coming in. But one thing that NBA and WNBA could work on is the revenue sharing agreement. So the
I love
WNBA players and the NBA players receive a share of league revenue tied to exceeding certain financial benchmarks in their contracts. through their union, the collective bargaining agreement, and the NBA players get a much larger guaranteed share of overall league revenue compared to the WNBA players. So, for example, I think they get a 50-50 split, don't quote me on that, of the league revenue tied to ticket sales and all of that stuff. They get a certain split off of jersey sales and things like that. The WNBA players
Right.
receive a fraction of that. They don't get anywhere close to that, and they don't get any money from like selling jerseys and all of that stuff. So
Yes.
that's one area like people have really been campaigning for the WNBA to get an improved fraction of the revenue sharing agreement and to make the financial benchmarks more realistic so that they can achieve that share in their contracts. It's ridiculous to me. And they always try, like they try to put the smartest girls as the CBA president, like Ogumake. Um,
Yeah.
that's why you'll see Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi joking, like, "Oh, did you get an 800 on your SAT? You can't be in the CBA executive board because you
Yes.
didn't know math, that kind of thing. Oh, you went to LSU, you didn't go to Stanford. Don't worry about that. You don't need to be in the CBA executive board." So it's really important that we know these things, and now that we have more fans and we're growing the game, we keep campaigning for better revenue sharing agreement between the WNBA and their players. Another thing I'll add is like, yes, Nia, you're absolutely right. The endorsement money will come now, especially since we have a better TV contract. But at the same time, Uncle Sam is a major problem because you have to
Facts.
pay taxes on all the money you get as income in every state you earn money in. So
Very
think
much
about
so.
that. If you're like selling, if you have like a certain NIL deal or something you're carrying with you into the league, and it was like raising canes, and you're like making money in South Carolina or Tennessee or something like that where they have raising canes, but now you play in Chicago. So you're paying money and taxes to both those states. You're paying money
Which
federally to the federal taxes to Uncle Sam, and you're paying your agent a percentage for getting you the deal in the first place. The money starts to dwindle a little bit. It's not always what you
quickly.
see on the NIL list that's at, oh, they got this, they got that. It's not celebrity net worth. Oh, they got this. Think about that. It shouldn't only come from the NIL and relying on endorsements for them to be successful or relying on social media for them to be successful. So we have to do our job as fans and advocate for them to get a higher revenue share and for the WNBA and NBA to stop being so greedy.
I totally agree. And so I just kind of want to pick your brain. What is the best way for, say, new fans or just fans to push for that revenue agreement change? Like, is it tweeting? Is it Instagram? Is it writing the powers that be? Like, what are the things that we should be encouraging fans to do to help fix this salary problem? I mean,
Yeah, I think the more that we make a like charge up about it on social media, the more we are organized and write to the commissioner, the more we push for folks to talk about it. It gives people with higher platforms ability to also retweet about it. It makes journalists more interested in reporting about it. Not a lot of the journalists report on this issue. I think that's part of it. So if it's buzzing on social media, that's something they can tell their editors in their pitch, like, hey, like, people are concerned about this. We need to talk about this. And it'll raise awareness and it will help them as players be able to advocate better for themselves. Of like, even our fans think it's crazy we're not getting paid enough. And then also, I think another strategy is to support the other leagues that are trying to be more equitable. Support Athletes Unlimited, right?
yep.
Like, show people that it's not, if you're not going to pay these folks correctly, they can go somewhere else and grow another league.
Mm,
So that's something to consider. I know, like, everybody's like, oh, well, they're barely breaking even, but some of the teams are not even making money yet. But do you really, if you've already invested in the long game, if you put a lot of money into like the Dallas Wings or you put a lot of money into the Chicago Sky, would you like to see all those players leave, and then now what you built, you're not going to eventually get that return on that investment.
Exactly.
That's something to consider too. So I think those are two things we can do.
I like those. I think that they are both very obtainable things that can be done. And hell, writing on social media, it's free as long as you pay your phone bill or you're on somebody's free Wi Fi. So
Period.
I'm excited. I know a lot of people have been complaining about the growth and all the different fans. I think that it does come with some growing pains and some annoyance of people not knowing what the hell they're talking about. But that's with anything. I think that it's going to be a fun summer to see the WNBA grow. And yeah, I'm just kind of excited to see like where all the draftees, how they're going to fit in, who is going to make the rosters. It should be an interesting summer. One thing about the women's basketball world, it really is never ending. That's how we started this episode, and that's how we're ending it. We're ending the college season, and we're heading into WNBA season. And as soon as we know it, we'll be back in the college season. So stay along for the ride, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Nasty Work podcast. I am Nia Senior. This is Coach Slaw. Please make sure you comment, like, subscribe, or review if you're listening to this. Share with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow us on all our social medias. And yeah, we will see you in the next one. Toodles.
Peace.